This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
Cheers!
Cheers, everybody. Right on.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
And I am Matt Conrad.
And who do we have with us today?
I'm drinking. Hang on. My name is Marc Sauve. And,
Marc Sauve.
Yeah.
And where in the heck do you have us today here, Mark?
We're on stage at the new location of the Comedy Cove in Dartmouth. And we're at the Micmac Aquatic Center, a building that was built in 1923.
Right.
Whoa, okay.
Right.
Just had its centennial.
And we're about 2 hours before you're opening your new show, right?
That's right. Yeah. Showtime's at 8 o'clock. It's just after 6. We're just finished setting up the room. Looks great. We're thrilled.
Looks cool. And you got your son working the boards.
I do. Yeah.
That's
my
pretty
son,
cool.
My son, Matthew. I have 3 boys.
3 boys.
He's the only child who's never seen me do stand-up tonight. So he's
really?
actually going to see me do stand-up for the first time tonight.
Oh, nice. That's
Right.
cool. Yeah. So
Interesting.
one of your guys is a big football. One of your kids is a football kid. Is that matters? Or
Yeah,
different-
he's in
another
the
kid?
Valley. He plays football.
Yeah, right on.
And then, I've got 3 boys at home. Yeah,
Cool.
3 boys. Makes me a god in China.
Do you, what position do you play in football?
He plays the offensive line.
Offensive line. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's big boy.
He is a big boy.
Oh,
If he
yeah.
didn't look like me, I'd be asking for a paternity test.
That's awesome. So, okay, so I you know what? I actually I like the concept that you're doing because you're a bit of a traveling show now. Is that what the idea is? Because I so years ago, I think, was it before COVID or?
I drug you to Mark's show 3 years ago.
We were
No
coming
more
here
than
like
once,
every
yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we came to see you weekly for a while.
for quite some
That's
time.
when you were at the Holiday
Tree.
Inn. Doubletree.
Okay,
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I was really bored like everybody else. And I worked in that building. I worked at one of the law firms there.
Yeah.
And I came downstairs to use the nice bathrooms, the bougie bathrooms on the main floor instead of the ones on our and I popped my head in. I looked at this room and I thought, wow, like opportunity knocks. And the next thing I know, I was sitting down with a meeting with the hotel people, and the next thing you know, we were planning a club, and we were open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Right. That's
Saturday,
right.
4
Yeah.
nights a week.
Yeah. Food there. You guys had food there because we were eating a ton. And
That's true.
drinking
We were
The food was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were having
good
beers
food.
and chicken
Yeah.
wings and comedy every Wednesday.
And it was really affordable. I remember that. And I was like, holy smokes, this is a good deal.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was only $5 to get into the show,
Yeah,
and I
right.
don't think I ever charged you to get in, or maybe I charged your friends, or I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't
We
think
made
so.
up for it in beers and chicken wings.
Yeah, you
so.
certainly did.
Yeah. But yeah, because at one point we had a full table coming with us at one point because a couple of my buddies were coming and stuff like that. So
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Stand-up comedy is something you should see. It's either you go with a date, and then it's a date night, and then you two survive, or you go with a bunch of friends, right?
you can, definitely. You know what? That's a great idea. First date, go to a comedy show. If one person laughs and the other doesn't, it's not meant to be.
Right. Exactly
That's
it.
a good.
That's a
good way
great
to
idea.
do it, right?
Yeah.
See how twisted the other person's sense
I've
of
seen
humor
so
is.
many first dates, like, I don't want to say die on the vine maybe at the shows, right? But I'm sure that it's a make or break place. It's not like going to a movie. I think that's the lamest place for a first date. You go to
Agreed.
a movie, right? But you go to a stand-up comedy club, you can figure out what people laugh at, what they don't eat, what they don't drink.
So aside from a guy set up clubs, you're a comedian, and you've been doing it for a minute, right?
I've been doing it for 30 years in August.
30
Wow.
years, yeah.
August 18th, 1993. That's when I debuted on a Wednesday night
93.
on Crescent Street in Montreal at the old Comedy Nest. And I had no idea. I've been taking the comedy course, and I had no idea that the room opened up. I just thought it was a room that sat maybe like 80 people. And that night there was an Air Canada night, and there were 300 people in the room.
How old were you the first time you stepped to a mic?
26.
26. Yeah, and what made you want to do it?
What made me want to do it? I don't know. I tell this story and it always sounds hokey, and it sounds, but I hope, and I'd love to know if other people have these moments in their lives. But I was literally, it was January. I was sitting at home. was thinking about life. I was unemployed. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Mm-hmm. And then I had the idea that I was going to be a stand-up comic, and a bolt of electricity shot from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head and got me all like, ah. And I ran to the phone book, opened the yellow pages, looked up the comedy clubs. There were 2 of them. Called the first one. Dude answered. I'm like, how do you become a comedian? He's like, there's an amateur night every Monday night. Do you want a spot? Because this is the day you call in. I'm like, yeah, I want a spot.
So you just walked up?
And then the day came and went, and I didn't go.
Oh,
No way.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to become a stand-up comic?
No,
You
it's
just can't
extremely
walk
hard.
up there.
Oh, no,
I had no
Yeah.
idea what the plan was or what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So then, fast forward to the springtime, and I just got my tax return. It was my first big tax return. I asked the girl out at the mall that I've been wanting to go out with, asked her if she wanted to go to the Comedy Nest, and I went that night, and it was a Saturday night, and I went, and it was packed. And then, like a big shot, I had $20 in my hand. I'm like, is there a better table, Mr. Doorman, somewhere?
Yeah.
And he's like, come with me. And he flunks us right in the front row.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So I'm with this really very attractive blonde girl. I'm punching up, as they say. Right? I'm not. And the comics are now punching down at me because I'm that guy who's
You're
sitting in the front row
Yeah.
with a hot blonde, and he shouldn't be.
Right.
And I thought it was hilarious. And I thought the last guy was okay. I didn't
Yeah.
think he was super funny.
Yeah.
That helps too, though, because that makes you feel like you can actually do it.
So then I kind of left thinking, And then, as fate would have it, the very next day, 2 of the gentlemen that were on the show, DJ McCarthy and John Rogers, who walked into the store that I was managing and I said, hey, you guys were great. He goes, yeah, you were pretty funny too in the front row. And then I asked how to get started in comedy, and I expected them to say, it's not for you and blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
And they said, we have a course, and it starts this week.
She started a course.
And I took the course.
So this is in Montreal. And
This is in Montreal.
And I mean, really, like Montreal is kind of like the stand-up comedy mecca for Canada. I mean, with Just for Laughs and stuff like that. Like, I used to love Just for Laughs.
Is
growing
it
up,
still
and
like that
do.
today? Is anything changed? No.
Toronto's probably the mecca.
Is it
Yeah.
now?
Comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really weird. When I started in 1993, there were maybe like 16 comics. Like that was it.
Right.
And now everybo's got a friend
Everybody's
who's
a
got a
comic.
comic.
Yeah.
Right. And there are a lot of funny people out there.
It's like podcasts.
Yeah, Randy, you should feel so lucky that I took this job. 18 people asked me to be on a podcast today. Sorry.
You know what the thing is too about stand-up comedy is, like, a lot of people like think you can be funny, and some people think they can be funny. But there's a huge difference of being funny, being situationally funny, like reacting to things that happen in your immediate whatever. And then there's a difference in going up on stage, telling structured jokes, and getting people to laugh.
In the years that I've been involved in amateur comedy nights, and I put on a lot. I've owned a couple of Yuck Yucks franchises. I've owned the Comedy Cove. I've organized amateur comedy nights. I've taught the course, and there are a lot of people. What's that? Mike Tyson had that great expression, everybody's really brave until they get punched in the mouth or punched in the face. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people show up and go, I'm going to go up and I'm going to tell that story about Aunt Sally's birthday, and that's it. And then go up, and then Aunt Sally's birthday is just not that
Just
funny.
bombs.
Or just gone, right? I've seen people slither away, right? I've seen other people literally do other people's material,
Right.
that, like verbatim.
Yep.
And then as a club owner, they expect you not to know that, that you just literally just ripped off somebody verbatim, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
And then the thing too is, like, it's very much, there's a lot of things in the art world that's like that, where it's you can say exactly, like, you can read the words that are there, but if you don't have that comedic timing, there has to be that X factor. It just doesn't work sometimes.
there are a lot of things that make a good comic. You have to be, people want to listen to you. There's probably a lot of really funny people out there that are hard to listen to, that probably never made it because they're just not fun to listen to, or right? And there's probably people in the business that have gone way further because they're articulate and they could string a sentence together, or they sound good, right? Or they sound like they're talking in punchlines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their timing too, and maybe also a time of life. Like, you look at some of those guys like Ricky Gervais starting at 40.
Yeah.
Right. And I find that's fascinating. Like, so maybe you're.
He didn't really start at 40 though.
Right.
Like he was in the entertainment industry since he was very young.
So he understood the business.
Yeah, he was like a singer of a pop. He was in a bunch.
Yeah, he was like 80s pop.
Yeah,
band,
and then he was in the media, and so he had an understanding. What I really love about stand-up comedy is, and what I always appreciated about it is, I really think it's like the Wild West. It's the last bastion of free speech. Really,
sure.
You are your own star, writer, director, presenter, publisher of your act, right?
Yeah.
Like Bob Mann, who's headlining here tonight. I have no idea what he's going to say for 50 minutes when he comes here. I have no clue. I have an idea. I know some of his material. I feel comfortable in booking him, that he's not going to come here and just pull out his wang for an hour, break all kinds of laws, right? So
I mean, some people pay for that, but
yeah. Well, Ralph's closed, right? So the market really wasn't there, right? So
I agree with that, because I mean when Dave Chappelle got his accepted the Mark Twain Award, he talked a lot about how he doesn't. There's times where he doesn't necessarily always agree with the content that's being said, but he said he won't necessarily fight for the content that you're going to say, but he will fight for your right to say it.
that's right.
And
That's fair.
yeah, and this this stage, this comedy stage, is kind of like that last stand. Like there's a little bit of protection because you're on that stage. You can say things on that stage that if I went out on the street and said it, that you might get punched in the face, and some comedians do get punched in the face, but.
So it said, I've never been punched in the face, whether it be comedy related, or personally related, or hockey, or love, or food related. I've never taken someone's food.
Some people get the same.
Yeah, but some people get slapped in the face at award shows, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was something.
That was crazy.
I think he was just hammered.
Yeah.
I think he was
Will Smith
liquored.
hammered,
I think
yeah.
he was just liquored.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think he was just absolutely liquored.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what was it Denzel Washington said the next day, or maybe somebody else. Someone really cool said, you know what? Oh man, I've been to those award shows and there's a lot of drinking. It starts early, and really, when you think of it, if you don't eat something at dinner time and you've got 16 drinks into you.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Chris Rock is chirping you from 20 feet away. Exactly. I'd probably go do something too about it.
We've always we've all wanted someone to keep something out of their mouth, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so you get your start. So now, you're doing. So it sounds like you've been traveling around the country quite a bit, kind of doing this stuff.
I started in Montreal, then decided that I wanted to go to Toronto because I wanted to play the clubs. I wanted to get on the road. That's kind of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then after I did that for a while, I moved out west because I wanted to see the West.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. And then I came back to Toronto, and then...
You were in the U.S. for a while, weren't you?
In where?
Were you in the United States for a while?
No, never in the U.S.
Never went to the U.S., eh? Okay.
I did a couple of spots. I mean, not that the American government or the IRS would want to know exactly where I did shows, but
Sure.
yeah. But no,
Did you ever hit up like the comedy?
the Funny Bone in
Bone?
Ohio?
Yeah. Okay.
That was the best.
Okay.
In Columbus, Ohio, we did 2 weeks.
Cool.
It was really cool, actually. I had really the best time ever.
Yeah. And you've encountered a ton of great comics, a bunch of great comedic acts in your years.
I've been lucky.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of big names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
worked with Russell Peters.
Yeah.
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald, you guys were really close.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were friends.
Yeah.
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 At least I think we were. I don't know. He might have hated me, but
He was a
who
nice
knows?
guy.
Yeah, I liked.
He
Mike
was.
McDonald.
Yeah. Tommy Chong, I worked with him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he was interesting. I had dinner with him, and that was really surreal
I bet.
to have grown up watching Up and Smoke.
Yeah.
And, we used to know all the words. We'd know, you get a goddamn job before sundown, right? We're going to ship you. I know the beginning of the movie. I know the end of the movie. I know all the lines. And then to be literally eating dinner with.
Yeah.
It was really weird. and I killed. And at one point, I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if I've ever told you this,
I
Mike.
haven't heard this story. No,
But the Trailer Park Boys, the actors,
Yeah.
all three of them came to one show, and they were all sitting in the front row.
oh yeah,
The three of them for the Tommy Chong show.
oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right, and that was just something
That's cool.
to be standing there, then talking to the three Trailer Park Boys
Yeah.
and Tommy Chong.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That would have been the highest like night of all time.
Metaphorically.
Yeah, probably literally too.
Ironically, I didn't get high with Tommy Chong at all. He just in the beginning he said that's just not going to happen. He had just come out of prison.
Oh yeah, it's on the
Right,
bongs.
and for selling bongs, and
Yeah.
so that was a big thing. You know, I don't know what, and so, but in fact, what he did do, as at the end of the tour, because we went to Cape Breton and back, and we did a bunch of shows.
Oh, cool.
He gave me a box, and in the box was all the weed and stuff that people had given him, palmed him along the way.
Oh my gosh.
So I had, for the longest of time, I had a little special stash
That's so
of
cool.
weed given to
Wow.
me by Tommy Chong.
Just fan weed.
fan weed. Really? That
there
would
a
be
better
just too
kind of
much,
weed?
right? Exactly.
I wonder if we can get to the level where people are fans of us
Yeah.
and they just give us beers.
Fan
That'd be
beer would
great.
be awesome. Yeah. So please send your fan beer.
Yeah,
Send your fan beer.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Like, have you gone to Just for Laughs? Because to me, that's like a bit of a bucket list. I've never gone. I'd love to go.
You know what? I've been to shows. I've never performed. And one of the reasons, I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but it's a really hard thing to get into. And it's really hard to get into as there's a lot of guys like me that they see every year, right? So it's like I'm no different. And really, I mean, I was literally told you're just another white guy with a tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like I was funny, but it wasn't funny enough to beat every other white guy with a tie out.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, it is what it is. I'm more proud of what I did, you know, when it comes to my own career. You know, when doors closed, I made my own doors and I opened them myself. You know,
Sure.
Funny Fundraisers. We started in 2009.
Yes, that's the one to get onto that. Funny
You know,
Fundraisers is an amazing program that you set up.
We've got a funny fundraiser planned in here for February 9th through the Utica Comics.
Okay.
Comets, the girls' ringette team. And long story short, we've raised now $1.5 million for local groups and charities.
Wow.
It's really
in
huge.
in the Maritimes. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if I told you this. So Mark got me to open on a Funny Fundraiser once.
I knew that you did
So,
an open one time, but
Mark has brought a lot of comics on, and like mentored a lot of comics. Some of them are still going on your stages today.
Yeah.
Right?
Kevin
And-
McDougall is going to open the show tonight. He took the
awesome.
first course. And now, ironically, his niece has
Wow.
signed up to take my course, and which
This year.
starts on Saturday. Right?
so
Yeah, cool.
obviously you can't go into like too great of a detail. But what's a comedy course look like?
Can I tell you what it's like from my perspective?
I would love to hear.
It's
both
very
of your
similar to an
perspectives.
AA meeting. It's like everybody's sitting at the table and they're like, I just want to be funny again. And it starts like really weird and uncomfortable to the point where I went the first night and I'm like, I don't fucking know if this is for me.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I just immediately fell in love with all the people. And when they had their stories and their books out and they were all reading their jokes in their first attempt,
Your
whether they were
class,
good or
your
not,
group was a good group.
whether they were good or not, they just had so much heart into
Yeah.
it, right? And when I mean, there was a woman and her son.
That's
And-
right.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
And they just, the son was very intelligent guy, and the mother was very just trying to really just find some humor in her life and learn to kind of uplift
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, holy shit.
We've had special needs people take the course. We've had people just trying to come out of their shell.
Right.
We've had everybody that's...
and I brought Jim Petrie with me.
And Jim still does shows.
Community theater, and he's still doing shows.
He does,
Yeah.
and Jim is really funny.
Yeah.
He did a show for me just a little while ago in Truro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love watching. I love people learning it. I love people realizing. For some people, when they come to me and they say, "Oh, this is my bucket list. I want to stand up. I want to be funny," and to help them do that. When I teach the course, I can't teach you to be funny. I just
No.
can't. It's either you are or you aren't.
Sure.
But what I'm going to teach you is how to structure a joke, how to write a joke. I'm going to teach you what a joke is. I'm going to teach you how to bring them back. I'm going to compile them properly.
You shared a lot of reading material. You shared a lot of great YouTube clips and stuff to watch. Great comics, both new and old. You kind of went into today's world and you went to kind of the foundation of where it was built.
Yeah.
I learned a ton doing your course.
Yeah.
I appreciate it forever.
Yeah, thanks,
I might even get back on the stage again.
Yeah,
right?
one day. Yeah. You
Well,
should.
that is like comics going in and sitting and listening to it. It's they call it going to school, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
Taking a class or going to school or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's just like old school and new school.
Right.
I know that when I started in 1993, I felt, being part of, I was really lucky. The Comedy Nest was one of the best clubs in the country at the time. It had really big names that would come in. It had regular weekend shows. We had, and they did it great. Instead of getting booked like one weekend a month, you'd call in and you'd get a spot. And so he would put like 5 or 6 people doing 5 or 6 minutes on before the headliner. So there was a real variety. And what they did there is that they made me open the show like every time, like every Saturday night for a year. And when you open the show, you get so much better at that first spot, because there's a really big difference between going on first and going on fourth when the audience is warmed up.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Or going after somebody that just absolutely kills.
twice
Or
in my
that
life.
That must suck.
Nikki Payne and Jason Rouse
Oh,
are the
wow.
only 2 comics that I couldn't follow.
Nikki Payne's amazing.
Nikki Payne, the first time I had no idea who she was. The first time I ever worked with her, and we went and did a gig out just north of Brampton in Ontario for Yuck Yucks, and so I go up, and it's big school auditorium, like 400 people. I go up, and I do pretty good off the top, and I'm like, I'm going to save like 15 minutes of my time to do between the middle and the headliner when they're nice and warm. And Nikki went up and did 25 minutes and blows the doors off the place.
Yeah.
And the headliner looks at me and goes, remember, you have to do 15 minutes. And I go, oh, my word. And I go up and it was like crickets. I was like,
Wow.
amazing.
she was really hard to follow. Still is, really. And Jason Rouse, too. He was just
Jason
crazy.
Rouse, that doesn't ring a bell, to be honest.
Jason Rouse is a shock comic. If you
Okay.
Google him, you'd probably like him. But he's
I love it. Yeah.
I think he's got metal teeth and
Metal teeth.
oh yeah. He's like he's a shock comic. I mean, condoms through the nose, kind of.
You read me wrong. I do not like that stuff.
Oh no, you really
That's
no.
pretty much the opposite of what I like.
Oh no, you'd love him.
Okay, so he's like basically doing like acts essentially, kind of to shock you in that way.
Like-
Not shock as in like saying horrible things. But gross things. Okay.
Gross carrot top.
There were horrible
Gross
things too.
Yeah.
Dude, he was one of the most vile people I've ever met my entire life.
No, that's not my thing, man.
I like
Nikki
dark.
Payne's amazing.
I do like dark humor. I like pretty like dark mixed up humor. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like if it's I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends on delivery, because I have a pretty wide humor like range. You can get to the darkest stuff, or it can be dad jokes like our hockey book kind of thing, right?
Sure.
It could be anything like that. As long as it's structured well and it hits me the right way.
I still don't know what makes me laugh.
When I write a joke, the guy that I want to make laugh in the room, I'm like, I don't care about anybody else. I want to make Mark laugh. I want to make the comic laugh, because to me, that's like a true validation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I made you laugh a few times, but I remember there was one time where I was like a bomb joke and nobody laughed, and you laughed the freaking hardest.
Just those
And I'm
moments are the best.
And I was
sometimes.
like, I was so happy. I was like, that's the only laugh I needed. Nice, I'm done now. Thank you. But it was just, those are really, truly awesome moments.
You also like a lot of dry, awkward humor too.
I
though.
love the driest of the dry.
Do you?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, he's a Norm Macdonald fan through
Huge.
and through.
Oh, you see,
See, I adore
I've
him.
met Norm. I've
Yeah, you told me
talked-
this story before, but you can tell it again if you don't mind.
He bombed so bad at the Just for Laughs festival.
Right.
And I almost think he did it on purpose. I don't know. I just don't get it.
Wouldn't surprise me if you did.
I never really understood him, to be honest. And the only time I've ever really appreciated Norm Macdonald, who I thought was brilliant, when he was doing Saturday Night Live on the desk.
Well, the OJ shit.
I love
like
that.
the old.
And he got fired
all
from
of
it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because he was too pointed, right?
Yeah.
He really didn't cut, he didn't pull any punches when he was doing that.
I've seen almost every clip he's ever done, right? And I mean, I love the long-winded jokes when he sits there with Conan and he can tell a moth joke that lasts for 6 minutes.
Exactly. Now, I get it, but you really got to like that moth joke at the end because you got to sit there for 6 minutes for one punchline. Whereas I often watch people ask me what my favorite TV show is, and it's The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Really?
And when I watch The Big Bang Theory, I laugh 6 or 7 times an episode.
Really?
And I laugh out loud.
Man, that show I watch, man, and I could fall asleep to it.
Really?
It doesn't my pulse doesn't even move.
You're watching it in English?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
Honestly, I watch that show and I'm like, it's okay. But I think the only person that has ever made me laugh on that show is Sheldon.
Yeah.
But that's pretty. Everyone else, I'm just kind of whatever.
They all had it. I find it really clever. And then, ironically, I started watching Mom.
Yeah.
And it's made by Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre,
Same person. And I find that show funny.
I thought Anger Management a bit funny. The one we had with what's the third?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just the pacing. I like the way that he puts it together. I don't know.
Well,
you know what was
similar to that? You were talking about the Office guy. Who's the guy that produced The Office? And then
Michael Schur.
I tell Matt
Michael
like
Schur's
a
the
host
best.
of my favorite shows, and he's like they were all produced by the same guy.
Oh, really?
I had no idea.
It's The Office. He does Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's a producer on Parks and Rec, and he does the Good Place, which was really kind of good place.
4 shows I don't like.
Wow.
No way.
I've only seen maybe 2 episodes of The Office.
Sure.
In my entire
Not a
life.
fan.
Those are probably
It's that
favorites.
awkward comedy.
Yeah.
I think I'm too empathetic.
Yeah.
I think I'm too. Like, it's the same reason I don't watch dog rescue videos anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I just care too much. I don't know.
Sure.
It's just too much. Right?
I think
get
Michael
that.
Scott might be the greatest character to ever be on TV.
Yeah, I love him to death. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
So Andrew and I, we watched the whole Office through the pandemic, start to finish.
Yeah.
And then we started and did the Parks and Rec almost immediately
And
after.
then Ron.
Right?
Ron
Swanson was my hero. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm disappointing you now. I see this.
Yeah, I can see it in your face.
He's like,
I really
thought
can.
you were a funny, smart man. He's
Yeah,
like, but no, I see you like the mainstream.
Sham that I am.
So honestly,
No,
funny
me,
show.
not you. I was.
So, what do you think is the funniest show? What's the funniest show you've ever seen? I'm also a big All in the Family because I think Archie is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not with him on this one.
we started watching MASH recently. My wife and I. She'd never watched it.
What did she
and
think of that?
She's
Because your wife's a lot younger than you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out. No one's going to listen to your tripod. Your tripod. Your podcast anymore. You have a really nice tripod. It's a podcast.
What does she think of MASH?
She's enjoying it.
Oh,
yeah,
she?
yeah.
Like
it was
just
kind of
supportive,
funny.
enjoying it?
No,
or-
she's actively enjoying
Okay,
it.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been through it. I mean, it's a long time. I haven't seen it in a long time too, so
Yeah.
whatever. But
it
could be worse.
It's a great show.
She could be making me watch like
Yeah, you
Friends
think
or
so?
something.
Yeah, that's true. Friends is, I'm not a Friends guy.
No.
I'm you know what? I may be in the minority here, but I actually think MASH is one of the most overrated shows ever made.
Oh wow!
Did you watch all of it? Did you?
No
I can't-
animosity towards
can't-
it.
can't
I can't really put an honest opinion on MASH.
MASH is actually 2 different series. MASH from the first season to when Henry Blake leaves is very much a sitcom. It's just bam, bam, jokes, they're happening. Here's doing boom. And then they started thinking a little more, a little more heady. And they started developing characters because they realized that we're like in year 5. We got to grow these.
It's funny, I know
Lynn
about
Bell-
this show because I read about it. So
Yeah.
it was almost the first dramedy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Larry Lindell, who played Frank Burns, literally, he just left the show. He's on a major sitcom. He's an actor. He's got nowhere else to go. Didn't go do anything else afterwards. He left because he felt there was nothing more for Frank to do.
Right.
Frank, he lost Margaret. And that was it. There was just, what are they going to do? They're just going to keep poking Frank? Mm-hmm. And so he said, you know what? I'm going to go do something else. And he started doing, I think it was dinner theater in the mall.
Oh wow!
Which is where he ended up.
Really?
Right?
Well, there you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mark, to put it gently, you're one of my favorite comics. I think you're fantastic, buddy. And I think you have a really just good soul and, like you said, empathetic, highly empathetic. You care about others a lot. You want to see them do well in life. comedy seems somewhat irrelevant.
I think he's going to kiss me. Everybody back. No more beer for Mike, please.
Nope.
He's drinking.
No, I'm only halfway through one pint now. Come on. But I got a little miles to go.
Before he gets there.
I'm in this business still only because I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not for the money that I make.
Sure.
I mean, I'm certainly not getting rich doing it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. I enjoy the satisfaction that comes with it. I like seeing people happy.
Yeah.
I love teaching people how to do it. You know, I'm anxious for the course to start tomorrow. And,
Are you doing more this year? So you got the one starting tomorrow in January, and people are going to miss the entry date for that because this will come out probably in February.
Well, I'm going to probably do it again I think I'm decided I'm going to do it like every 4 months kind of thing.
Yeah. So
How long does the course run for?
It's like 8 weeks.
Okay.
it's well worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well worth it. And I mean, the thing when you say, well, in context, it's like if you don't want to be a comic, but say you do presentations and you're like, I just need to have a joke that hits, right? Like, you know, I just need to like know that if I try to tell a joke halfway through this, that people are going to, have a warm reception. To get that basic understanding of the punchline. When Mark started me off, I won't give too much of his course away, but he started me off. It was just, I showed him some jokes and they were pretty much essays.
They were.
And he's like, dude, can you just try to write the quickest way to your punchline as humanly possible? So I started training myself and trying to write these very, very small jokes. Jimmy Carr is a tremendously good example of the super condensed joke. He doesn't take a second breath before the joke's over.
It's a sentence or two.
Right? And I find him exhausting to listen to because when you listen to him, he has 10,000 jokes in one comedy special.
I just don't like him because he's tall.
Yeah.
All tall guys.
All tall people are just not cool.
Whatever. Yeah. Anybody over 5'9", by the sound of my voice, you can all go to hell. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I listen to his comedy in almost 2 segments because I've gotten enough out of 15 minutes of his bits, and I'm just like, okay, I can listen to some more because I've laughed enough, and now I'm tired. I'm missing stuff.
He's up there, like he could very well be up there in like my top 5 that I could listen to over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, didn't want to run too long here. I know you're literally setting up a show right now. We're going to be stepping into it if we go much longer, but
well, I want to get a top 5 from the comic.
Top 5?
Yeah, I want to get a top 5 from the comic.
Do you want to do that?
You probably won't know a lot of. All right, I'll do top 5 that you guys will know.
Sure.
All right, that's good.
I think Mike McDonald was really the GOAT.
Yeah.
And I say that because he was just a master of the setup punch, and he had a very rare ability to come up with one premise, tell 19 jokes, and then show 19 other jokes with just his body. He had a philosophy of tell the joke, show the joke.
Yeah.
And he was so good at it.
Mm-hmm.
He was just no one's ever going to, that whole, what he loved about Canada, how the most polite nation in the world, 3:30 in the morning, January, downtown Winnipeg, right? And people are stopping for the lights to turn green, right? Hang on, everybody, just wait, it's yellow. Hang on, they're hitting the button, and he'd mime hitting the button.
Yeah.
And you'd be right there. You'd be right down Winnipeg, downtown Winnipeg. And
Just paints a picture.
I've seen so much of him, especially because, obviously, he spent a lot of time here and everything, and Just for Laughs loved him.
Yeah.
So I have seen a lot of his material, and he was good. Like, his jokes were great, and how he physically executed them were fantastic.
How about we'll do this? In the 30 years, instead of giving you my top 5 comics, I'm going to give you the top 5 shows that I've either been on or seen or whatnot.
Yeah,
right?
That's awesome.
Mike McDonald killed in Yarmouth one night. That was just... Never seen people like they were dying.
It's Yarmouth, though, so it might have been the first comic they've ever seen.
I think it was the second.
Yarmouth is one of the funnest places to go in Nova Scotia.
I love
with
Yarmouth.
a good crowd.
Between July 11th and August 12th.
Yeah,
that's the best place
to
go.
I've been there in September once. It was fun.
And then we had like I said, we had a great night there. Yeah. It was a benefit for Canadian mental health, and he just rocked.
Nice.
Awesome.
I saw Ray Romano at the Comedy Works in Montreal
So is
in
he
the summer.
He one of your tops?
It was just one of the top shows that I've ever seen.
Okay.
This was pre I Love Raymond.
Oh, okay.
So he's big, but he's not huge.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Right.
playing a 100-seat comedy club, and I had to beg the owner to go and stand in the back because there just wasn't any more room.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to stand in the back and where the waitresses had to squeeze past me, and I saw him perform, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
Joe Rogan, I emceed for Joe Rogan in that same room years ago, and it was an eye opener
Yeah.
to see how good he was in a small room. Bunch of really good, solid stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a guy in Calgary. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember his name. I could see his face. Long story short, he did this show where the club manager thought he'd gone on too long, and it was the second show of the night,
Yeah.
and she wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Craig Campbell,
Craig Campbell, okay.
crazy guy.
Craig Campbell, I don't know.
Craig
that one.
Campbell, Comic Out West, and he's
Yeah.
killing. And he doesn't want to get off stage because the bar manager's telling him. So he decides, I'm not getting off stage ever until everybody's gone.
Oh, wow.
The show started at 11. The show ended at 4.
Nice.
That's a Chappelle thing.
Some
He does
people
stuff like
stayed. Like
Yeah.
I would've
literally.
stayed the
And
whole
he would
night.
and I did.
I would've
And
stayed
about
till
30
sunrise.
other people did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Till finally he just looked and went, I want to go get high. Come on, let's go get high. Forget this. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we went
Yeah.
to Denny's or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And so served
Amazing.
late at night. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I've heard like there's comedians that should just drop into places and then they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna test some things out for a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people. John Doerr was the other one at Yuck Yucks.
Oh, yeah.
When I owned the Yuck Yucks
John Doerr,
in the
yeah.
West End, he did a show that I think people were probably still talking about. Like it was just really funny. Like the night went, the improvs, everything went really well. Yeah.
I gotta interject. Cat Williams, does he make your list?
No.
No. Have you ever watched Cat Williams?
No. Here's the deal.
You know what? You better be
Moving on.
careful because now you're on his. He'll be on his radar now.
Moving on. He's gonna blow you up next week.
He's gonna blow you up. He'll go on. He'll go on Club Shay Shay and rip you up.
Did you hear about that?
No.
No. Oh my gosh, went viral.
It went viral. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes. You said you couldn't listen to it all. I listened to it all in pieces, and mostly because of my love for Shannon Sharp. But yeah,
He tore up every single comedian
Just
that's
went
out
through
there
it.
today. And he
Just
went on
terrible.
and on and on. This guy's a comic himself. He's
Call-
completely self-funded, self-reliant, does his own
Thinks
specials,
he
his
is the
own
greatest
tours,
comic.
Thinks he's God's gift
Yeah.
to humanity. What a crazy, funny few hours to listen to.
There were a
You
lot
know
of
what, though?
crazy
You
people
might
in
like him because he's only like 5'2" or something.
He is
Well,
shorter
maybe,
than,
yeah.
he is
Maybe,
definitely
maybe
shorter
he's
than
pretty
you.
funny then.
Yeah.
He's very handsome as well. I like that. I like it.
Oh,
The
he's a
Hobbit
cool
people
guy.
unite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was an interesting little
Yeah.
thing that happened.
All right. So
recently,
how many
but-
we get? We got Cassidy. We got Dorr. We got Mike McDonald. We got Ray Romano. So we need one more, right?
Did we not do? Isn't that 5? Didn't we go Joe Rogan?
That's fine.
yeah, there
That's
you go.
fine. So we're done.
And you know what? And two, as much as like I think we're, the Canadian version of Joe Rogan, I think we're right there
You
with
think
him.
we are? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
We're-
I mean,
we're-
we're like,
we're-
nicer. We're nicer.
I'd say we're
nicer.
we're the nice.
Just so you know,
That is
he
the
could beat
Canadian
the
version.
crap out of both of you right, at the same
100%.
time. Like it was just like I pay money. just to-
100%.
I
100%.
would even fight with you
We're
guys.
more
just
like
to
modern
take the-
Bob and Doug.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
Listen, anyone can beat anyone as long as he's looking the other way and I have a bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so people have said that all along.
Exactly. But here's the deal. I will say Joe Rogan, huge proponent for the comedic world.
Yeah, for sure.
He gives a lot of people their chances now
Yep.
that we're in the position that he's in. And
He, when it came down to it, I spent the weekend with Joe Rogan, and this was just before he was on news radio.
Yeah.
Like it
Okay,
was
yeah.
just being made.
Yeah.
And he lived in New York, and he literally said to me, come to New York. Just come. Forget about green papers. Forget about the green card. Just come. I'll get you a job in a restaurant somewhere. You do 9 shows a night in the clubs. You'll get so good at stand-up comedy. This is what you need to do. You just need to do it. And I was too chicken.
Crazy.
yeah.
I was a little chicken.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a big thing back
No,
then to just
yeah.
leave and go to New York. No
It's
papers.
amazing how he just does that with so many people. right? Like Joe Rogan has just been a real ambassador for comedy. When he sees talent or he sees someone that's great, he just pushes and pushes.
And he's really kind of like taken the comedy hub away from LA and has moved it to Texas.
Texas,
It's crazy.
Yeah. So he moved.
There's a lot of comedy
to
going
Texas
on in
too.
LA still,
You ever heard
of course there is.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
still
know what that
obviously
is?
Hollywood.
Kill Tony. Have you heard of that?
No.
So Kill Tony is a show that they do in Texas that was used to be in LA at the Laugh Factory. They moved it to Texas with Joe Rogan. Guy Tony Hinchcliffe runs it.
Okay.
And it's basically he has amateurs from all over America, really all over the world, that are getting up. They draw names out of a bucket for 3 hours, and they let everybody do 1 minute of comedy.
Wow.
And they do
And
that.
they roast them.
And then they roast the shit out of them no matter what. So you probably wouldn't like that part.
That doesn't sound very nice. Right?
It's fun to listen to.
I don't know. I've always
It's my guilty pleasure.
I'm
So when
always-
I'm not working on this podcast, I'm usually listening to that one.
You guys are going to have to teach me. I want to get into this battle roasting laugh. I
See,
think
I'm
that
not
I could take some
battle
people
roasting.
down.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that probably
I
the
love
only
roasting.
thing I'm good at would be just roasting people.
I love roasting. I love the roast that they put on with Jeff Ross and all that stuff. I love those. Just tear the people apart. I love it. Because you know what? All those people agree to get like ripped apart, and they go up there and it's like they say obviously really offensive things and all that stuff. But in the end, they're like they've all agreed to be on there for a good cause. It's for charity of some sorts, right? I don't know. There's something awesome about that because I think everyone needs to laugh a lot more. And whether there's dark things in life, and there's unfortunate shit that happens to people in life, and I think just laugh about it is the best medicine. It really is. So I think you're doing spiritual work, right? Making people laugh. And Jimmy Carr talked about it. He used to go and do acts, or still does acts, at cancer wards. Yeah. And makes jokes about, hey, good to see some similar faces here from last year, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's not easy. And you know what? Everybody needs to laugh. And I'm really happy that I have a passion and that I have a life that I've done. I've made a lot of people laugh in my.
For sure.
I've sent a lot of couples home. I've always wondered, how many lives I might have changed. Maybe somebody had a really shit day.
Yeah.
And
100%.
they were gonna, and then they went out and they laughed and they went home and had sex for the first time in 6 months, maybe, right? and then now they have a kid that they argue about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many lives have I created and changed?
There's something about that. Like honestly, like how many times have you made someone laugh and someone just like, I needed that.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's how many times, right? Like, I goofed around a little bit like today and yesterday. So like we work at a place, insurance, so serious, right? But I was a bit of a goof. I actually think I think I'm funny, but I don't think I'm stand-up funny. I think I can write things funnier. And so I went over.
He's like Office funny, Mark. Like the kind of funny you don't like.
Yeah, maybe that's it. You might not
I'm
think
just
I'm
looking at both of you weird. I'm just trying to figure out what have I got myself into.
I went through and I as the manager of the office kind of thing, I went through and I made vision lists for everybody, but I made them ridiculous.
Nah.
So I pinned them up and I didn't tell them I was doing it. And I pinned it up so when they sat at their desk, they'd look up and they go, vision list. And then they read them and it was just ridiculous things. Like one of the ones I put on his vision list, for Mike's vision list, was own a unicorn. Not stuffed, real. And to me, it's stupid, but I was like, to me, it just
What
catches you.
do you think? Do you agree that's just stupid?
I've been enjoying my time with you guys up until now, and I don't want to get into between anything. And I don't know why you'd be looking for a unicorn. I don't know.
No, it's not really my thing.
But that's the thing. That's what I thought was kind of funny because Tobin's all like, I like meat and don't give me a hug, but I want a unicorn.
Don't give me a hug.
All those things are true about me. Yeah.
I don't like hugging anybody taller than me. I don't know if I ever told you that. Anybody hugs me who's taller, don't hug me.
That's funny. No, I just don't like the hugs. I just hate when people come and they're like, oh my, let's hug it out. I just hate hugs.
Right?
Hate
Somebody who
hugs.
doesn't even, I don't know, this whole bro hug that started a while
There's
ago.
like this thing with the slap on the back. I'm like, no, stay off me, dude.
Right?
Yeah, stay off me.
That's why we're friends.
I like this.
The fist bump was, I enjoyed
my
that.
favorite thing in the entire universe.
Least
to
amount
just
of
do this with
contact
another
possible.
man. Boom. I like you. I have no problem with you. I don't want to hug you, touch you, kiss you, whatever fucking
bump.
germs you have.
That'd be horrible.
Right?
Imagine if everybody did that as something instead of the fist bump. It was the big belly bump. Yeah. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'd be literally throwing up on people immediately after. I almost gagged when you
he
said
got
it.
me from behind.
All right, you know what? I think we covered a lot here, but I think we need to end this on a joke.
Frig. Really? I just told one and we all laughed. You could have said that was it.
That was the joke. That was a perfect joke.
All right, fine.
What I do want to do is say Mark's going to have another comedy course coming out.
That's true.
Stay tuned on the Afternoon Pint podcast. We're going to let you know when it comes out. When this episode comes out, he's going to have this hour's 22 minutes Kathy Jones coming up.
That's right.
So come see the show. If you know Kathy Jones, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's
lovely.
actually going to be here tonight too.
She's going to be here tonight too.
She's going to be in the room any minute now.
Mark,
she's coming in to do
Can you
what's up.
invite her on our podcast? Because we'd love to have her.
Yeah,
on,
she'd be
right?
great.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
But yeah, anyway, so Kathy Jones will be on the next special. Bob Mann's here tonight. He's fantastic also. I've seen him before. Thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure.
You're fantastic.
Thank you.
Check out his
Fist
comedy
bump.
course. Fist bump.
Fist bump and
Fist bump
cheers.
and cheers.
There you go.
All right,
Sweet.
there we go.